Hey loves, my name is Kyle August, and I'm here to help you manifest your specific person in the quickest and easiest way possible. Today, I wanted to discuss and go over the idea or technique that helped two different people in the past week manifest movement with their specific person just a couple hours after our coaching session. If you did not check that video out, I urge you to do it and show their success stories. I went over it. You can watch it before this video or after. It's not going to matter. But you can really see the effects of what this technique can do for you by checking that out. I'll try to link it at the end of this video as like the recommended video. So let's get into it. So we know, and this is like generic knowledge, wish-fulfilled state, right? We got to assume that. But sometimes we find ourselves falling out of it, right? Sometimes we begin to think, this isn't going to work. Why am I even trying to do this anymore? And we fall into something called all or nothing thinking. And you guys have heard me time and time again talk about this on my channel. So all or nothing thinking just means that we believe if we can't have everything that we desire, then we must have nothing. And this is an extremely negative thinking, and it pulls us out of that wish-fulfilled state. It pulls us out of the positive thoughts, the positive feelings that we have towards our end state or towards our specific person. Now, this idea will actually work with any sort of manifestation that you're in, because we can find if we're able to just stay in that wish-fulfilled state, we're going to see our reality reflect in very quick ways, like in these instances, in just a couple hours. If you ever find yourself in this all or nothing thinking, here's what I want you to do and what I want you to remember. So we can relate all or nothing thinking to a black or white thinking, right? We feel like it must be this way, and if it's not this way, then it must be that way. So if we feel like we're not with our specific person tomorrow, which is our end state, that's one side of the coin, we are a failure and we're never going to reach our specific person and it's never going to happen, which we know is obviously untrue. But we can convince ourselves of that if we are thinking that there's only these two options, right? But, so here's the thinking, here's the technique that we're going to go over. So it's called like, I call it like shades of gray thinking. So actually, you're going to think and find yourself somewhere in between. And that's going to help you in ways that you have no idea how much it's going to help you in that instance. Again, you're going to be the one manifesting a couple hours after this video and be like, oh my gosh, it worked. So with this case, if we think there's a black and white thinking, we're going to find that we're actually someplace in the middle. So our mind is not going to ever be we're either with our specific person or we're not. Obviously, that's the state we are assuming. But when we think we're not, we need to get out of that as soon as possible. So what I want you to do whenever you feel this way, or even if you begin doubting yourself for even a second, I want you to do this. So I want you to imagine the scale. So we have that black or white thinking, right? On one end, I want you to rate yourself from 0 to 100, okay? 0 means that you could never be with your specific person. It's never going to work out. You should just give up now. It's impossible. And on the other end is 100. So that's if you rate yourself 100, that means you're with your specific person in that happy relationship, feeling positive, feeling abundant, feeling magnificent. You have your kids, you have your house, you have your career, you have everything that you've ever wanted. And this could be with any manifestation that you're talking about. But this is a time when you're not feeling good. If at any point you find yourself thinking this can't happen or you doubt yourself, rate yourself on the scale. And you're going to find that you rate yourself way higher than you think you would. So in this case, I've had multiple different people, again, rate themselves on this, in this feeling, and then they began to assume the state. We worked with other things to assume that state, and they found movement in just a couple hours. The point of this is to make you realize that you are actually way closer. You already have your manifestation alive within you. It is only our negative thoughts that are making us feel as if we don't. So in this case, rate yourself right now, 0 to 100, and it's normally you're going to rate yourself like what? Like 95, 99, like you're basically there. What's there to worry about? But when we're feeling down, we feel like a 0, right? Just looking at this scale makes you realize how abundant and how positive you truly are. Now, I asked this for the couple people I mentioned last week that manifested within a couple hours, and they rated themselves a 40 and a 60. And you're thinking, okay, so let's think about that. At this moment in time, we felt as though we could not achieve what we desire. We should just give up now. It's all done. It's all over. There's nothing we can do. And then they go ahead and rate themselves a 40 or a 60. And you're thinking, that is a lot more than 0. If you were going to fly to Australia or fly to someplace very distant across the world, and you were fit 40 or 60% the way there, you wouldn't have the thought that you couldn't do it or you couldn't get there, right? It would be a sure thing that you're perfectly on the path, you're perfectly on your way. And usually as soon as someone realizes this and makes this rating, it becomes so obvious and so apparent, and it re-puts them back into that wish fulfilled state. Because in order to actually make this rating, you have to think about everything that's going on, how it's happening, what's causing it, our internal beliefs, and you have to make a deductive, maybe that's not the word. You have to make a proper guess of where you're at, and you're going to start thinking about, or then you have to bring in all the positive and amazing things that are happening in your reality right now. Because let's say, again, that all or nothing thinking, we feel like everything's going perfect, and we text our specific person to hang out, and they say they can't, and we feel down, we feel devastated, we feel out, right? That's going to be a time where all or nothing thinking is going to be a huge effect of how we're feeling. But then again, take that shades of gray thinking. We're thinking in black or white because we can't hang out with our specific person. We feel a total failure with them. But you're going to realize that you actually are rated an 80 or a 90. You are super close to your manifestation. And what is that going to do for you? You're going to find yourself shot and put right back into the wish fulfilled state. You're going to get right back into that feeling. Remember that, okay, just because they can't hang out doesn't mean that you're not already married to them or you can't be with them. Like, what does that have to do with your manifestation? It more or less is a question of like, who said you can't have that? Just because you can't hang out with your specific person tomorrow, who said that means you can't be married to your specific person? Who's telling you this? In the words of Abdullah, just shut the door on that idea. But this, it seems so simple, right? This black or white thinking, the shades of gray thinking in between, it seems so simple, almost as if it's not even a technique. But try this out after this video, even maybe think about it right now. How close do you feel? 0 to 100. Again, if you're not really feeling that anxious or worried, it's just going to be like, you probably going to rate yourself 90, right? And you're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm actually so close. I can't even, I can't handle it. But it exclusively works very well when it comes to a time that you're not feeling good, because that's when we pulled ourselves out of the state. So if you ever feel that way, you ever find yourself doubting yourself, do this and you're going to see a crazy switch in your reality. Again, I can't mention it enough. 2 different people last week had crazy movement with their specific person after feeling completely down and out, telling me it can't happen within 2 to 3 hours after utilizing this technique and allowing themselves to fall back into the state. Because when you're feeling down and out, how do you feel towards your affirmations or visualizations? You're thinking, why would I even do them, right? What's the point of doing this if I'm going to fail anyway, right? But that thinking is definitely what we don't want to do because it's pulling ourselves out of the state. How could we feel living in the end if we feel it's impossible to even get? Try this out. Let me know how you guys do. You guys are going to love it. If you are in the wish fulfilled state, this is perfect. Just think of this idea, rate yourself, and you're going to see yourself closer to your goal than you ever feel. Again, remember, you could never be separated from this goal or this reality. You always have everything that you could ever wish for contained within you at this very moment. This is just our logical mind tricking us into thinking it can't happen. But also, if you are feeling down and out or ever feel doubt, go back to this technique. I cannot stress how helpful this is going to be and how quickly you can see movement just by not allowing that depressive state to kind of hit you or that state that you can't have it, that feeling, if you just completely eliminate that, you will see massive, massive movement in very short periods of time. But I want you guys to try this out and then let me know how it works for you. But if you have any questions on this, or again, if you get that success in a couple hours, come back in a couple hours and leave that success story in the comments below. You guys can also reach out to me on my website, KyleAugustCoaching.com. Check me out on TikTok too, which is Manifestation Man. Also reach out to me on my website if you guys want one-on-one coaching. That's all I got for you guys today. I love you all, but I'll see you guys next time.